The day compassion triumphed on Elm Street. The summer sun bore down on Elm Street, a quiet suburban lane in Oak Ridge, where the heat turned the pavement sticky and the air quivered with intensity. It was a day when even the squirrels sought refuge in the shade, but for 9-year-old Lily Harper, that sweltering Wednesday afternoon would etch itself into her memory forever. Lily, a frail girl with asthma since infancy, sat on her family's modest front porch, her blonde ponytail limp with sweat, doodling in a sketchbook. Her breaths were shallow, a constant reminder of her condition. Her parents had warned her, extreme heat could spark a dangerous attack, and stress was a silent enemy. Lily's family lived in a small, well-kept house, the kind earned through years of sacrifice. Her father, Tom Harper, toiled as a carpenter, while her mother, Clara, worked nights as a janitor and studied for a teaching credential. They were quiet folks, always lending a hand to neighbors, never asking for much. But trouble was brewing, and it wore the face of Margaret Ellison, the iron-fisted president of the Oak Ridge Homeowners Association. Margaret lived in a grand colonial at the street's end, its lawn flawless, its hedges sculpted to perfection. She patrolled Elm Street like a warden, her clipboard a scepter, her rules a gospel. At 3 p.m., her silver SUV rolled into her driveway. Stepping out in a crisp blazer and skirt, her eyes locked onto Lily's porch. There, a bright yellow plastic water table bought secondhand by Tom to keep Lily cool set an inch over the property line, a violation in Margaret's rigid world. Margaret stormed across the street, her heels snapping against the asphalt. "Young lady," she barked, "that table is on common property. It's against HOA rules." Lily, confused, clutched her sketchbook. "My dad said it's okay here," she whispered, her voice trembling. Margaret's lips curled. "Your dad doesn't run this neighborhood." "I do. Move it now, or I'll report you." The heat and Margaret's venom hit Lily hard. Her chest tightened, each breath a struggle. "I can't move it alone," she gasped, pressing a hand to her ribs. "That's not my concern," Margaret snapped. "Rules are rules." Lily's face paled, her lips tinged bluey, a terrifying signal of an asthma attack. She tried to stand but collapsed, wheezing, "I can't breathe." Margaret stepped back, as if Lily's distress were contagious. "Stop exaggerating," she said, pulling out her phone. "I'm calling the violation hotline." As Lily clawed at her throat, her inhaler lay inside the locked house, unreachable. But fate had other plans. At the street's end, a dusty pickup belonged to Master Sergeant Daniel Pierce, a combat medic home on leave from his 4th tour in Iraq. Visiting his old friend, Mrs. Lee, Daniel heard Lily's faint gasps. Trained to act under fire, he sprinted toward the Harper house, his boots pounding the pavement. Kneeling beside Lily, he saw her blue lips and knew time was slipping away. "Hang on, kiddo," he said, his voice steady. "Where's your inhaler?" Lily pointed weakly toward the house. Daniel turned to Margaret, still on her call. "Ma'am, is there a spare key? She needs her medication now." Margaret waved him off. "I'm handling an HOA matter." "She's faking it." Daniel's jaw clenched. "This child is dying, and you're whining about a table?" Without waiting, he set Lily gently on the porch and kicked the front door open, the frame splintering. Inside, he grabbed the inhaler from the kitchen counter and administered it with precision. Lily's breathing eased, color creeping back into her cheeks. Daniel wasn't done. He called his base. "This is Pierce. I need medics and MPs at 1423 Elm Street. Civilian negligence, child endangerment." Within minutes, sirens wailed as military vehicles flooded the street. Medics stabilized Lily while military police took statements. Colonel Laura Bennett, Daniel's commanding officer, arrived, her presence commanding. Learning that Margaret had stood by as Lily suffered, she confronted her. "You're the HOA president?" she asked, her voice icy. Margaret stammered. "I was enforcing regulations." Laura cut her off. "You prioritized a table over a child's life. That's not leadership, it's negligence." Clara Harper rushed home, her heart racing at the sight of ambulances. Sobbing, she cradled Lily, who whispered, "The lady wouldn't help." Tom arrived, dust-covered from a job site, his fists clenched until Daniel assured him, "She's safe now." But Margaret's reckoning was just beginning. Laura ordered a full report, labeling the incident child endangerment. Margaret, now in a police car, felt the weight of her actions. The story spread like wildfire. Military families, outraged by Margaret's callousness, moved into Oak Ridge, transforming it into a haven of honor. Gold Star families, Purple Heart recipients, and active duty soldiers became the Harpers' fiercest allies. At the next HOA meeting, the community center overflowed. Clara and Tom sat up front, Lily between them, clutching her sketchbook. Daniel, in dress uniform, stood behind. Margaret, her confidence shattered, tried to lead but faltered when Laura interrupted. "You nearly killed a child over a table." Daniel rose, his voice cutting through the room. "I've seen kids die in war zones because adults cared more about power than lives. I never thought I'd see that here." Lily Harper loves drawing stars. She dreams of being an artist. She nearly died because someone valued rules over her life. His words sparked applause, then a standing ovation. Mr. Howard, Daniel's 90-year-old grandfather and a Korean War veteran, proposed Margaret's removal as president and a new rule: emergencies trump HOA regulations. The motion passed unanimously. Margaret resigned, her voice a whisper. The story went viral. News outlets dubbed Margaret HOA tyrant, and Daniel's speech racked up millions of views. Margaret's real estate career crumbled, and her house was unsellable. Her daughter, Emily, a social worker, called her, devastated. "Mom, you taught me to help people. How could you watch a child suffer?" Margaret wept, confronting her warped priorities. The Harpers thrived. Daniel became Lily's mentor, teaching her resilience. Laura launched a scholarship for Lily, funded by military donors. Mrs. Lee, the new HOA president, enacted the Lily Harper Protocol, prioritizing emergencies. Tom landed a better job. Clara earned her teaching degree. A year later, Lily spoke at a meeting, her voice clear. "I forgive the lady. Maybe she was hurting inside. I hope she heals." Her grace silenced the room. On Lily's 10th birthday, Elm Street hosted a massive party. Margaret, invited by Lily, watched from her window, unable to join. Therapy and volunteering hadn't erased her shame. As Lily blew out her candles, she wished, "May every kid have someone to help them." Daniel kept Lily's star drawing in his wallet, a reminder that heroism lives in small acts. Years later, Lily opened Stellar Art Studio, her dream realized. Elm Street's water table remained a symbol of battles worth fighting. The story became a case study in military ethics, teaching that compassion outranks rules. Margaret lived quietly, her lesson learned: power without heart breeds injustice. What do you think about the role of compassion in confronting injustice? Should rules ever outweigh human lives? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's debate how we can stand against cruelty and build better communities.